This is what we're talking about. I think when you see the children come down here, and we have close to probably 2,500 school children a year come down on organized tours, and you expose them to nature. They've never been exposed to this before, to actually look at the salmon, touch the salmon, and see them being collected at the fence. It's really something that the children constantly say to us, this is our best field trip ever. This is often referred to as a jewel of South Surrey. We're talking about the Semi-Ammo Fish and Game Club grounds and the Little Campbell Hatchery, built on the banks of the Little Campbell River. Little Campbell River is about 30 kilometers long. It rises in Langley, flows through South Surrey, into the Boundary Bay in East Beach in White Rock. This is a success story. It is an urban river that still survives despite development. 60 years ago, this river is decimated by uncontrolled gravel operations upstream. The spawning beds had been destroyed. There was log jams, beaver dams. Really, the river was really a mess. When the club was formed in 1956 and took on the main role of restoring this river, that meant several things. That meant getting into the river itself, removing log jams, removing beaver dams that were restricting the salmon from going upstream. It involved clearing debris along the banks of the river. The Chinook is always the first to come up to spawn in October. There, in with that group, we'll see also a pink salmon. We'll see chum salmon. And this will be followed by the biggest group of salmon, which are the coho salmon. They tend to come up in November. And they'll be followed through December, January, February, the steelhead trout returning to spawn. We get about probably over 5,000 salmon spawning this far up the river. There's certainly more spawning further downstream in some of the tributaries that we've restored. But to see the salmon runs that high is very, very good to see.
Well, this river, the Little Campbell, is just thriving with life. I mean, it's teeming with salmon, and we need to protect this stretch of river that has so much value, and there are not many places like this left, especially close to the city where people can access such restorative nature.
The biggest threat to the river today and to the wildlife in the river and on the banks of the river is a proposed development for an extremely large truck parking facility on the banks of the river. This is a particular piece of property that slopes down to the river, and at that particular point is one of the largest spawning beds within the river. The danger of this proposed development would be the leaking of petrochemicals and other contaminants into the Little Campbell River. This would destroy all fish life in the river regardless of what season.
I think there's appropriate development for appropriate areas. Heavy truck parking and a truck wash and all the logistics and support, possibly even a refueling station. That's really invasive heavy use. It doesn't make sense that close to a river.
What we would like to see is that piece of property acquired by the city and turned into a park or retained as agricultural land. That would be the ideal setting. We're not convinced that any amount of assurances or engineered safety approaches would effectively protect this river. At some point in the future, those will fail.
Let's talk about some of the different wildlife that we've seen around here. What have you seen? Minks, okay. Anybody seen anything else? Ducks?
I've heard that there's owls around here.
Owls, yeah.
I've seen deer.
What makes this huge diversity?
The salmon.
Nature.
The salmon.
Each year, since 1983, the club takes fertilized eggs from the hatchery, and they're delivered to elementary school classes in Surrey, Richmond, and Delta, and White Rock. The children raise these eggs in their aquariums in the classroom provided by the Department of Fisheries. And when they get to the fry stage, they bring them back to the hatchery. The fish then, we then take them down onto the river banks, and we take their fish and we ask them to release them into the river.
Wow. Fish are coming. See how the water flows out?
And this is really a very enjoyable time for them. They've raised these fish, they've watched them grow, and now they're going to release them into the river. And they're always asking, will they come back? When are they going to come back? And I usually say, well, you'll be 3 years older by the time they come back, but you can come back then, and hopefully you'll see them return to spawn in the river. It's ironic at a time where other jurisdictions across this province are making every effort to restore salmon streams. Here we've got it. We've built what they're trying to attain. We've built this jewel, and it'd be a shame to lose it, lose this river because of one single irresponsible development.